Oh, a million times better. Anyways, hi guys. If you were catching the first part, you had to come over here. Sorry, glitches happen, and they just keep changing everything on the platform and on the app. So to change the view to horizontal, they put it in a whole other place. And so depending on where you're at in the process of creating a live, sometimes it's gonna glitch out. Hi Paula, Sarah. Okay, cool. Everybody's coming back in. No worries. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Um, we're gonna wait a couple minutes for people to come back over here. There you are. Yes. Hi. Hello. We're back. We're back. Yeah, right. So much better. It's like this is too much. That is way too much for trying to like give a whole little talk and pull cards. Like this feels like breathing room. This is good. This is really good. She's live. I know it's fine, but it's bugging me. Yeah, it was maybe it's a neurodivergent thing. I could see it being part of my neurodivergence, but it just was not in my normal flow and it was gonna throw me and distract me. I'm glad you took the time to make yourself comfortable. Me too. Me too. Yeah, we got some Louisiana in the house. Glad you're here. Oh, thank you guys. Ah, hi. Hey, Divine Phoenix Rising. Beautiful soul. Hello. We'll always follow you much better. Yeah, this is so much better. Okay. All right. Now that we are back and we are on schedule, we're in our flow, I'm going to do a little bit of an overview and then we're going to get into the astrology and then we're going to go ahead and do some collective messages, okay? All right, let me just do a little timestamp right here. Dude, this week, I'm excited for this week. Just saying, this is a good week. All right, so for some people who watch my stuff who are into astrology, they like to have notebooks. I'm just putting that out there. There's a lot of astrology. There's a lot of intermingling. It was so much to the point where I had to like do a lot of little like diagram charts for myself to understand, and I had to do a lot of color coding. So I'm probably not going to go into like super detailed astrology to not overwhelm and to not confuse, but I'm going to give you guys the important information either way. All right. But the week that we're moving into, we got a couple really cool transits that are happening. July 2nd, which is tomorrow. We do have Mercury, well, at least here in the States, it's tomorrow. We have Mercury moving into Leo. We also have Neptune going retrograde in Pisces on the same day. July 5th, we have the new moon in Cancer. I will be doing a live for the new moon Cancer over on Patreon either tomorrow or the day after. I just haven't scheduled it yet. I've been trying to like find my little pace with things as like we've been navigating some of this energy. I was praying and getting confused, and then God told me to just watch this. Well, I'm glad you're back, Sam. I'm glad you're back. But yes, for the new moon Cancer live, that will be either tomorrow or the day after. Okay, so just keep your eyes peeled for that. We do also have 7/7 on Sunday. A lot of people would consider that a portal day. And I did notice when I went over my notes that there is some interesting stuff happening on that day that I thought was worth mentioning. And we'll get to it. But if you are a portal day person, if that's something that you like to pay attention to, this one in particular is going to be really great for manifesting and for really focusing on your own personal calling, whatever that is. And that's also just a big theme of the week. But those are some big transits that are happening. Now, if I were to paraphrase this week, I would say we still have a continued balancing act happening in many ways. So there is a balancing act that a lot of us have been doing, especially now that we're in Cancer season, with Cancer opposing Capricorn in some ways. We do have this need to balance present emotional nourishment versus future long-term goals. How to balance the two, how to walk that line. That's something that's been present. That's something we are still doing and we're still learning and we're still navigating. Some of us better than others, right? But that is still there. There's also a need to balance independence and heart-based connections. Hope you're having a good time with that. That's been around for a while. It's still present. That balance of independence and connections can also bring up some Lilith triggery, shadowy shit that a lot of us have been experiencing, and it is still here. But don't get dismayed by any of that, because we have a lot of really positive energy this week if you are open and receptive to it. Okay, we also still have Saturn doing its thing now that it is retrograde, especially trying to get us in this place of surrender and trust and faith and compassion, but really getting into this place where we are emotionally detaching and letting go of things that we really need to let go of. Think 8 of Cups, right? This place of also allowing endings and changes to happen that maybe we've been struggling with. Something else that was coming through as a channeling, with the things that we are letting go, there may be some bad behavior that's wrapped up in that. I think I'd spoke about addictions and vices before, but that was also coming back up, even though I thought we were kind of done with that. But for some of you, that might be the things you need to let go, right? Shadow work is a part of that. What else? Yeah. And because we still have Chiron and Eris working together, we also still have this continued triggers that may come up from an unhealed place. If you're working on your shit and you feel good, you're probably fine. That's more for those who are still struggling to work on their stuff. No judgment. We've all experienced that. Some of us are there currently, right? So those are just some like background energies that we're still experiencing. Already that is a lot. So this is what I'm saying. There's a lot of layers to this week. There's a lot of astrology this week. All of those are long-standing themes and energies that we're all continuing to move through. Now, something that's a little bit more focused around the energy of this week and the new moon in Cancer, new experiences. And this has me excited just because as I was going over everything, it seems like this is part of the divergence that I was also speaking to in the last like couple weeks, where anybody who is really like doing the work and coming from a very heart-centered place, really prioritizing what is actually good for their souls, what is good for them emotionally, and also abiding by Saturn and surrendering and just letting go and being present, there seems to be like this domino effect, exponential effect of doors opening. It's almost like a door will open if you can come into this place, and then because that door opens, all these other doors open and other doors open and other doors open. It's like it's a very, I can't think of the right words, like an amplified domino effect. So for those who are like in that bucket, who are on that path, a lot of really fun surprises ahead versus those who are still fighting. Okay. Social life will be very active and dynamic this week as well for most people, and that will also help to open up some doors. Again, if you are surrendering to this energy or not. What else do we have? Oh, yes, and manifestation. Manifestation comes easy this week, which is also exciting. Some of you may not even realize that you're manifesting. It's coming so easy. Accelerative force. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how to describe that. It's like you open a door and then there's 3 doors, and then you go through one and then there's 9 doors. Like it's exponential, right? It's like, I don't know how else to explain that. Anyway, but yes, manifestation will come a little easier this week as well, especially if you are working from that very present place, that place of surrender, that place of trust, and really honoring your emotional needs and everything that's happening in the present. Now, while we are balancing present and future, and emotional nourishment now versus long-term material gain for the future, while that balancing act is happening, the more you really honor the present, the more likely you're going to be able to actually bring in that future you're wanting in the first place. So just wanting to emphasize that, like when I say balance, don't get too caught up in your head about it. Honoring the present is pretty much a priority no matter what kind of energy we're working in, but it's just really emphasized right now. And especially while we're still in Cancer season. Okay. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way of your heart. Get out of the way of your heart. This energy of new experiences, and especially there's a big social component there, is bringing in a lot of unexpected new things. And it might be uncomfortable, especially if you're still dealing with unhealed stuff, or if you're not like letting go, or you're not surrendering. So I just want to encourage you, just get out of your own way and just stay open-minded. Also very Pisces, just stay open to what the universe is giving you, because it may be better than what you could have ever dreamed of. I feel like I said this recently in one of the sign readings. Maybe it was the Friday video. I don't remember. But that is how I would paraphrase this week. Yeah, that's how I would paraphrase this week before even getting into astrology. Okay? Need to hear that? Say it again. I don't know which part you're alluding to, but good. I'm glad. I'm glad you're receiving it. All right. Let's break down some of the astrology. Actually, I'm gonna do that for a 10-minute mark. Oh, where to start with this? If you guys could see my notes, even looking at my own notes, I'm like a little overwhelmed. But let's focus on the energies surrounding manifesting your heart's desires while getting out of the way of your heart's desires. It's something that's coinciding at the same time. And even within this like big group of energy, there's kind of like three subgroups. The first one really circulating around Venus sextile Mars, which will be a very important aspect on the new moon in Cancer, just so you guys know. But Venus in Cancer, Mars in Taurus are sextile. When you get Venus and Mars together in a supportive aspect, like a conjunction or a trine or a sextile, it's always a good time. Because it's literally the balance of the polarities of feminine, masculine, of destruction and creation, of exertion versus what's the opposite of exertion? Relaxed, right? Being more in the receptive state, I guess, versus exertion. I guess that would be the opposite of that. Now, because it's a sextile, it is more about opportunities and doors opening. A lot of sextiles going on this week, a lot. And also having Cancer in Taurus, this does kind of circulate a little bit more around stability that provides emotional and or practical stability, and also building and cultivating relationships or creativity or anything that really, coming back to Cancer, that makes you feel really good emotionally, takes care of you emotionally, but it's also happening through Mars Taurus. Mars Taurus likes to get in there, create things, make sure it's solid, make sure it's fortified, make sure we can build something off of it, right? So it's that kind of vibe, which is why it can be very, very good for manifesting. So manifesting, creativity, really great for relationships and dating and flirting and meeting people. It can create like a magnetism, because even Taurus itself is very like sensual, right? But it's actually in Mars versus like Venus, even though it's home in Venus. But anyway, attraction and magnetism and charisma will also come easier at this time. So whether you're using this energy for one aspect of your life or your entire life, I feel like we're all feeling it. It can bring about this very like, it's a confident energy and a very optimistic energy. It almost feels like Jupiter to me, and Jupiter's doing stuff too, but that's kind of how it feels to me. Very, very positive. So this one aspect is supported by many other aspects in celestial bodies, because there's a lot of intertwining going on this week. But it is supported significantly by Saturn, actually. Saturn being in Pisces, and Saturn is doing its own stuff. But the way Saturn is supporting this aspect, these opportunities will come easier for us, and we can lean into the positive energy of Venus sextile Mars if we embrace Saturn Pisces. So going back to what I was already preaching about before, right? Letting go. Letting go, let go, let God. That's kind of, that should honestly just be the motto for Saturn and Pisces. Let go and let God. just give it up and just live your life and allow things to fall into place as need be. But also, again, if you're doing shadow work or you need to end things or walk away from things, emotionally disconnect, detach from things, deal with your own devilish vice-like energy, all of that falls under Saturn Pisces. Now, Saturn, which is retrograding now, is also working with Pallas Athena and Juno. And this is where it gets interesting, because Pallas Athena and Juno are supporting Saturn. All of that is supporting Venus sextile Mars. You see what I mean about the layers of complication here. Now, with Pallas Athena, it's in a trine with Saturn. So the support of Scorpio, Pallas Athena is in Scorpio, okay? Also embracing changes, endings, anything you need to do as far as your own shadow work or transmuting anything, or even if you're dealing with like sexual energy, obviously Scorpio rules that. But I was feeling it's more about finding balance and solutions by embracing change, is how I was feeling Pallas Athena in Scorpio, which is just going to help with emotional detaching and letting go from Saturn. But something else that's interesting is Saturn is opposing Juno in Virgo. And when I tuned into that, I was getting some power dynamics, which makes sense since Saturn is very authoritative, right? So there may be at the same time, while we are letting go of things and we are allowing ourselves to have these new experiences, there's also a need to reevaluate partnerships, and authoritative dynamics is how it was coming through. So relationships where there is a sense of authority or maybe even power struggles or issues around control, okay? Probably not really great right now, generally speaking, since this week is so much about like, go with the flow. Go with the flow and embrace new things and embrace change and see what gifts that can bring for you, especially if you're willing to do the work, right? So if there is any like friction like authoritative dynamics that you're dealing with right now, most likely you're probably not going to want to focus on them too much, or you're going to see them in a whole new light, right? And then wanting to pull away from that. It's like very flowy week, very, very flowy week. But this will also translate into any changes you're going to make personally with how you deal with people, since this is also a very social week. Okay, so just wanted to be very clear about that. Now, we do have a little bit of an ebb flow this week as well, because some of these aspects are strong in the beginning, some of them are strong towards the end of the week. So just know that there is some activity around Ceres and Orcus. Ceres is all about self-care and nourishment and nurturing. Orcus is interesting. I find Orcus very intriguing. Orcus rules. I don't want to say vengeance, but that's kind of what it is. Kind of like karmic closeouts, right? It's like punishing the guilty, punishing the wrongdoers. That's very Orcus. But Orcus is also about knowledge and healing modalities and information as well. And with it being in Virgo, there is this sense of maintaining integrity in these realms. And so just know that the activity around Ceres and Orcus this week kind of moves from a place of wanting to secure and build or even reconfigure your current foundations in daily life, because Mars is at play there. So that's going to be more in like the beginning of the week. And then as we get towards the end of the week, there is even more of an emphasis of needing to really balance how you are nourishing and taking care of yourself versus your long-term plans versus other people. Again, major balancing act. If you just stay present and true to yourself, it'll be fine and it'll be easy and you don't have to think about it. But Orcus, because of the way it is aspecting the new moon, we do have an opportunity for major healing and karmic closeouts this week as well. So again, if you're willing to do the work, amazing rewards could happen out of this week and a lot of interesting little surprises, because Uranus is kind of active too. So there's that. Oh, speaking of Uranus, that's right. It's funny when I do these notes, because I realize as I'm explaining it to you, I'm literally explaining it in the order I even wrote my notes, which I don't, it's just interesting how that works. Anyway, also towards the end of the week, we do have activity with Venus and Uranus. And this is where it gets even more exciting, because the whole week we're going to have really fun, inspired social experiences, meeting new people, or even experiences that just open doors that we never thought were even available to us in the first place. But having Venus sextile Uranus by the end of the week, that is definitely twists of fate when it comes to relationships or meeting very specific people or even fated individuals, was something that I was also getting. This could also bring in people that are meant to activate you and meant to help you adapt and change while we are embracing new experiences and we're closing out old ways of being, essentially. Also know that we will have continued opportunities that are going to change us. And that's not a bad thing. It may be ways that we really need to change, or that could allow for things that to come into our life that, again, we couldn't experience otherwise. So I also want to be clear about that. But we do have something going on with Venus and Aries. So Venus is in Cancer, and it is square Chiron and Eris by the end of the week. And that is also present on the new moon Cancer. So as we get into all these like new experiences, social experiences, doors open and left and right, oh my God, what is coming my way? If you have any unhealed stuff, this is where it might come up. Venus in Cancer square Chiron, which is conjunct Eris. For those who are unfamiliar about Eris, Eris is like the sister to Aries, and she is in Aries right now. I kind of call her the Street Fighter. She likes to right wrongs. She likes to right wrongs, is what she likes to do. But she is very fiery and she is very feisty. And as she is working with Chiron, it creates this energy of, I want to right the wrongs I have experienced, almost like a wanting to seek justice or bring justice to the self. But being in a square with Venus and Cancer, while Venus is doing all this stuff, right? Getting into our hearts in situations and with other people and having these new social experiences, new experiences in general, it can trigger us in ways that are kind of just, I'm not going to say not appropriate, because if we're triggered, but if we're feeling a little threatened or a little unsafe, it could really make a very shadowy aspect of ourselves come out in a way of like, I am uncomfortable, this is too much. It almost feels like too much love is honestly how it feels to me. Like, oh, this is too much newness, this is too much love, this is just too much. And it's like, it's not safe, is how I was feeling that as I was tuning into it. So some of you may experience that, some of you may not. Again, more for those who are dealing with unresolved things. All right. Now, like I said, there's a lot. There's a lot of aspects in this. I'm not going to rattle all of them off. I just, I feel like I just heard some of you like, no, please. Um, it's too much. It is too much. It is too much to really reiterate because we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, we have 16 aspects for this one little cluster. That's too many to rattle off. Anyway, but if you were to look at your charts, to look at your houses to see how this could be affecting you, what is shadowy? When I say shadowy, I mean like acting out of a place where you are feeling scared or you're feeling under threat or you're feeling like you need to protect yourself or because you're triggered, right? It's like that's what I mean by shadowy. My BD sent me a loving message. I saw her before setting the custody paperwork today. Oh, wow. You heard us, LOL. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did. I'm definitely feeling that Aries energy, LMAO, and working it out with some Saturn, Venus, Aquarius energy. Ooh, I wonder if you're early degrees or not in the Aquarius placements. Anyway, so for all the stuff I just said, all the stuff and information I just gave to you, how do you take this information and apply it practically to your houses, right? Let's look at Cancer first. So Cancer's got a big range because Venus is very, very active this week and is doing a lot. The sun is also active too, obviously, in Cancer, but not as active as Venus, I will say. So the range for Cancer is, I labeled it 15 to 25 degrees. The 15 to 20 degrees, though, I would say is probably more important, but the whole range I think is important. So wherever you have in your houses Cancer 15 to 25 degrees, this is where Venus is transiting, also where the sun is transiting as well for part of it. This is where you may feel that motivation to really pay attention to your own emotional needs, to really listen to your heart, and also to invest in heart-to-heart based connections, okay? It almost feels like, yeah, it's the emotional drive is what it feels like to me. Is Mercury still in Cancer? Mercury's moving into Leo tomorrow, so it's in late degrees Cancer. But Mercury is also active, and actually that's in the next section I'm going to talk about, but Mercury is more active in Leo actually this week, which I think is kind of interesting. If you're following Tropic Western, if you're following Sidereal, it's going to be more active in Cancer. But anyway, so wherever you have Cancer, 15 to 25 degrees in your houses, and it could even overlap heart-based desires, heart-based connections. It is the emotional driving component of what is going to be nourishing for you, and honestly, just what you want. Honestly, just what you want. Some of you may experience a pull in that house to almost like getting like obligation a little bit, like obligation to like other people or family. Free will is a huge factor there, but also discernment on if you should be investing in certain people or not, because it is also Venus, right? Now, Taurus, 15 to 20 degrees. Did I miss a lot? I just got here. Oh, kind of. I'm actually like halfway through the astrology portion, but this is going to post after the fact, you know? But Taurus, 15 to 20 degrees, this is where Mars is going to transit. Now, Mars is catching up to Uranus, not this week, but in the coming weeks. I mean, the more we get into this energy for this week and the following week, it just feels like we're moving into like a 2-week period, 3-week period, I'm going to say 2 weeks. I feel like we're moving into a 2-week period where manifestation is really easy, but also, but there's also a stronger drive. There's a stronger drive to rise to the occasion and really embracing change that could really bring the fruits that we've been wanting to experience. And also, especially relationships, because there are going to be some expected meetings and opportunities when it comes to relationships. And it almost just feels like things just falling into place. Come through, magician. Yeah, it's very magician. It's very magician-like. But anyway, so Taurus, 15 to 20 degrees is where Mars is transiting. This is where you may have an easier time being very active in actually setting up certain foundations or making certain moves that can start to cultivate what is going to be practical in maintaining certain things you want to maintain. But it also feels like the masculine working with the feminine in a way of through Mars Taurus, whatever that house is for you, you may find things there that can even help with how to facilitate emotional nourishment as well. So I'm hearing sustainability. Thank you. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Mars in Taurus, sextile Venus in Cancer is an aspect that can facilitate sustainability of the practical and the emotional, but it's up to you to determine how that fits for you. So just look in the house of Cancer and the house of Taurus. There's going to be some tools there, opportunities there for you to facilitate more sustainability of your emotional body, emotional regulation, and the practical. Okay? Okay. Now, the Pisces Virgo axis is still very active, and this is more like the long-term aspects that I was alluding to, especially as it pertains to Saturn and everything Saturn is doing. But just make sure you are balancing that axis, Saturn, Pisces Virgo, excuse me, Pisces Virgo axis, I would say 15 to 20 degrees. It's really more about surrendering and letting go of expectations and all those things already described. But a new element that might become very prominent this week is that reevaluation of your own dynamics with authority and partnership, specifically how authority or power struggles or control issues may arise in your relationships, and what do you need to calibrate there? What do you need to work through or let go of there? Maybe it's setting boundaries, maybe it's taking accountability, maybe it's getting out of your own ego, right? It's like there's going to be different things there for everybody, but that's going to be coming up in the houses of Pisces and Virgo, 15 to 20 degrees. All right, moving on. Let's see. With Mercury and Cancer, I really felt I had to say it like I felt it 100%. Oh yeah, this next one. Where to start with this next one? So this is one that is like an interesting ebb and flow through the week, where we have different energy we're working with at the beginning versus at the end. In the beginning of the week, we will actually, okay, I will say we have a bit of romantic energy throughout the week. And when I say romantic, yes, obviously I mean romance and flirting and dating and all that stuff. But romantic energy can also be fantastical and sensual and fun and playful and creative, right? Mystical, even. That's also romantic energy. So it doesn't have to apply to your love life, but obviously it can. We do have Mercury moving into Leo, like I mentioned. And Mercury will be trine Neptune in Pisces, opposing Pluto, which is retrograding. Wait, I feel you there, Barbie. Oh, sorry, getting caught up in the comments. Opposing Pluto, retrograding in Aquarius, and also Mercury is sextile Lilith. Lilith be busy too. We'll get back into Lilith. Lilith is very busy this week too. But all of that mercurial energy in the beginning of the week, there's a lot of opportunity to act out your own desires. There's also very charismatic energy. There's also an energy of wanting to come from the heart and also wanting to be more sensual and more playful. And I do think it's going to benefit everybody. And also it's like lubricant for these like new experiences and social experiences. Just be very mindful of the ego with Mercury opposing Pluto. Be very mindful of that and mindful of your intentions and why you're doing things the way that you're doing them. Okay, or why you're interacting with people the way you're interacting with them. For a lot of you, this is just going to bring about a very inspired creative energy in your life and not necessarily even have to touch on relationships, but it can permeate your relationship life. So just enjoy it. That's all I'm gonna say. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Hold on now, it's summer, okay? All right, so that's the beginning of the week with this cluster. And then as we move into the end of the week, we do have Jupiter coming into play with Mercury and the North Node, and this is where things get a little spicy. And in the last cluster, remember I said at the end of the week, we have Venus sextile Uranus making things extra spicy. Now we have this added energy on top of it with Jupiter opening doors left and right. This is going to be really fun. So we have Jupiter sextile Mercury while Mercury is in Leo. We also have Jupiter sextile Vesta in Leo and the North Node, while Mercury is also conjunct Vesta and trine the North Node. So you see what I'm saying? There's all of this support between Jupiter, Mercury, Vesta, and the North Node. All of them are working together in positive aspects. Can't go wrong with that. But what does that even mean? So first of all, the sextiles between Jupiter and Mercury and Jupiter and the North Node. Keep in mind, Mercury and Vesta are together, right? When we get into this receptivity of new experiences, because Gemini, speaking of Gemini likes to experience new things. Gemini likes to learn. Gemini likes to mingle. Gemini likes to talk. Gemini likes to play. And Leo likes to play. Doesn't like to talk as much as Gemini, but Leo also likes to play and likes to have a good time. With Jupiter getting in the mix and amplifying all of that, Jupiter is also bringing confidence. Jupiter is also bringing optimism, but Jupiter is also bringing in, with the sextiles, new opportunities, new doors opening, right? Especially working with the North Node. So these experiences that we're going to be having, especially towards the end of the week, may play into our futures more than we even realize now, because it is also intertwined with the North Node. Now, Jupiter sextile the North Node actually peaks next week, I believe on the 9th of July. It's on the 2024 poster. Posters are still available if you were interested, so go ahead and look below. That's also going to be a great day for manifesting as well, because it is working with future-oriented energy. Now, the role that Vesta is playing in all of this with Mercury and Jupiter and the North Node, Vesta is the sacred flame. Vesta is blueprint energy. And it is about your own personal calling, whatever that may be. Some of you may feel like it's a spiritual thing. Some of you, it's just whatever your own personal passions are. Maybe some of you, it's being family oriented. It's different for everybody, right? But there is a clarity that's coming through here too, since Mercury is working with Vesta and Jupiter and the North Node supporting Vesta. So not only are we having clarity in what our personal callings are, there's more fun, there's more play, there's more sensuality, there's luck, there's confidence, there's optimism, there's a lot more ideas coming in, there's helping hands coming in, and there's doors flying open for the future. It's kind of amazing. And you guys know me. I don't sugarcoat, I don't overinflate. This is a magical week. It is. Okay, very magical week. Now I want to talk about 7/7. Wait, end of the week means what? Friday or the weekend? Thursday to Sunday is end of the week. Like, to me, beginning of the week is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday is always a middle time. And then like weekend, I just consider end of the week. But again, I'm talking about a lot of different aspects. So again, don't get too, I don't want to say, with anything, don't get too caught up in your head about it. Like, just think the beginning of the week is literally just beginning, and end is just end, and middle is just middle. It doesn't have to be so rigid and finite. I'm talking about aspects that are fluctuating throughout the course of 7 days, right? And with astrology, I love astrology, but this is where crazy making can happen, where people can get way too caught up in the details and be like, I got to do it this day and not tomorrow because Mercury is here and not there, and it's a 2-degree difference. Like, it doesn't have to be so much like that, right? So just don't get too up here about it. Just like receive the information and sit with it and like feel it out, you know? But let's talk about 7/7. So 7/7 is Sunday. That answer was very air sign. Oh, was it? Okay. 7/7 this Sunday. So I already talked about the importance of Mercury, North Node, Jupiter, and Vesta. What else is kind of cool is the moon moves into Leo at the end of the week, specifically Sunday. So on 7/7, where most people would consider that a portal day, the moon is going to join Vesta and Mercury together in Leo. So not only do we have this support from Jupiter of luck, optimism, confidence, even just fate, right? Of new experiences because it's in Gemini, right? We also have the support of the North Node, future-oriented energy, opening doors to the future, also very fated-like energy. I don't know why Faye just came in here. Like, wait a minute. Not ready to go there yet. I can, like, sometimes that happens where like my team is like nudging me to get into just like the next portion, but like I'm not done talking about this yet. So that's the North Node support. But now to have Vesta and Mercury, right, supported by the moon. The moon is how we feel emotionally stable. It's our drive to facilitate what makes us feel comfortable and happy. So there's like this massive alignment that's happening on 7 to 7. On 7 and 7? On 7 7 of our emotional body, the actual just momentum and movement of energy collectively, our mental body, I said our emotional body, and our spirit. It's like literally everything will fall into alignment very easily on 7 7. So for this week, moving into this week, if any of you feel like you've been struggling trying to figure out different things in your life, maybe you felt confused, or maybe you felt stuck, or maybe you feel like something just ain't right, this is a week where it'll be very clear. It'll be very, very, very clear. Because while we're not talking a lot about like the material plane of like work and money and finances and health and all these things, this is energy that will trickle out and permeate the rest of your life, the other aspects of your life. Okay. So just keep that in mind for 7 7. Oh, that's right. One more thing. I forgot. So again, the next thing I'm going to talk about is just kind of long-standing energy that I've been talking about. Neptune is sextile Pluto, and that is being able to see big picture and making needed changes where you are able, of what is needed and what will facilitate not just your future, but even other people's futures. We also have Lilith activity around this. So Neptune is actually opposing Lilith still. Lilith is in Libra, 0 degrees, again, tropic western, while Pluto is trine Lilith. So what does this bring about? Lilith is already active in some other ways with, what was it? Oh, with Mercury at the beginning of the week, right? But these aspects that I'm referring to now, present all week and even going into next week. And we've already had it present for the last couple weeks. So again, this is not new. This is not new. But what is kind of nice about it is your own intuition and instincts will never guide you wrong. But especially this week, you're going to really want to pay attention to them, because it's almost like your intuition is going to be a little bit more like sharper. It will be sharper. And also acting out of your own sense of desire will also benefit you this week. The only thing you want to be careful of is that opposition of Neptune and Lilith, where there can be at times maybe an unrealistic expectation of outcome. So just again, don't stay attached to expectations. Saturn in Pisces is teaching us that anyway. It could also bring about very triggered aggro energy when needing to balance your own sense of independence and then also showing up for other people. I'm hearing of service is what I'm hearing, of service, of service, of service. So watch the ego there. There's nothing wrong with having boundaries and making sure that your needs are being met, but it's a whole other thing when, how do I want to say, when you get angry at someone for maybe needing you, even, maybe needing you. It's interesting it wanted to come through that way, but it did. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. Now, out of all the stuff I talked about, I really think the most important signs to pay attention to for how this can affect your chart is Leo, 0 to 10 degrees, and Libra Aries axis, 0 to 10 degrees. That Leo component is probably going to be arguably the most important, because that is where Mercury is and where Vesta is, which are aspecting Jupiter and the North Node. That's also why I included Aries and Libra axis, because of the North Node and because of all the Lilith activity. So that's why I included all of that. But pay attention again to Leo, 0 to 10 degrees. There's something going on in that house that is going to just feel like a gift. Like a gift of just alignment of clarity, manifestation, and ease, but also a lot of fun. A lot of fun will be coming out of that house. And if it lands in a house for you that's a little bit more like material plane, there could even be some like monetization of your own passions, or even gifts or rewards for bringing some of the energy to the table. If it is in like a career house, like 10th house, 2nd house, 6th, 7th house, kind of lean into that too. Now the Aries Libra axis, how do I want to say that? In these houses, how do I want to say? I almost want to say like, stay aware of your ego in these houses, because keep in mind Chiron and Eris are also in the trigger boat, the trigger bucket, and those are in Aries as well. Watch your ego here. Watch your ego and how you may be acting out of that place with people in these houses, just pay attention to it. But I would prioritize Leo, 0 to 10 degrees. Okay? And that is all the astrology. Oh, happy early birthday on astrology still. Thank you guys for answering the questions. I appreciate. I have Leo and Lilith. Oh, so were you born in 96? It's kind of crazy the information that I know. Like there are just some things that are just like I don't know. I think because astrology is so like mathematical to me and it's like all pattern based. Oh, so okay, I get it. So you're in the cycle before that. Before okay, got you. Oh, you just made me think about an ex of mine. Oh. Something just made a lot of sense. Something just made a lot of sense. Um I'm trying to get like that. Well, and also like the sessions that I do, I have a lot of fun doing the astrology sessions with people. And that also just helps me to learn a lot, which I am going to be opening that up again soon. I am not open yet for sessions, but that will be coming up soon. I just had to reiterate that. This is the week where I'm getting like reconfigured and all that stuff. You make me want to get into math. Good. Math is fun. Math is fun. It really is. Little tangent before we get into collective messages. I was talking to a friend sometime in the last couple weeks. I don't remember when we had this conversation. It had to be the last couple weeks. When I went to college for undergrad, I kind of regret not trying engineering. I kind of regret it. And I know I shouldn't have any regrets, but it was coming up sometime in the last couple weeks. Because, like, to be honest, I really don't know if I would be good at it or not. I was really bad at physics. I will say that. But, like, I think I had really bad teachers. There was something about physics that just, like, I don't know. I felt like some of it was just, something wasn't right. And I couldn't grasp it. But I always wondered if I would have been good at engineering. I feel like I've kind of missed the boat on that. But I don't know why I brought that up. Oh, math. That's why I brought that up. That's why I brought that up. I'm a 81 baby all around artist, creative, and comedian. Math clicked, physics didn't. Interesting. Okay. Was going to drop math, but then after a tangent in the last live, I'm excited to get back in. Good. 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 Never too late. Yes, in theory. In theory. In theory. In theory. Timing is everything. Yes. Timing is everything. I am definitely like one of those people, like I don't like that where age doesn't matter as far as like going back to school and everything. But also, I don't know. I do feel like when you hit certain like age milestones, some things start to feel, I don't know, like maybe that boat really ain't there no more, and that's okay. Indigo child, only science I was good at, or bio and chemistry. You hated math. Oh, I loved bio and chemistry. I loved bio and chemistry. I think I was actually better at biology. I think because I just liked figuring out how things worked. The memorization part was just like, that was hard. That was really hard. I had to put a lot of time and energy into the memorization part of biology. But that's interesting that you didn't like math if you were good at chemistry. Have you ever told us your age? I'm sure I have sometime in the last few years. You're welcome to guess. I may or may not confirm. Everyone always thinks I'm younger than I am. I'm sure that's a hint. I loved physics in high school, but you make me want to get into math for the occult knowledge. Hey, it's very valid. Let's see. I could also evolve into something else altogether, like natural building design or something. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I actually would really love to get into green building, which is also why why I went back to school, right? Last time was to get my master's. And yeah, green building is something that I think I would have a lot of, well, not I think I do. I know I have a lot of passion for, and it would be really cool to do that. But you definitely need like architectural or engineering background. Um, I love the numbers people are throwing out. Oh my God, me too, landscape design. Yeah, even as a kid, I thought like I was probably like being an architect was something that was in the back of my mind even growing up. What kills me is you're close to my oldest daughter's age. Oh, really? I had the world's best biology teacher. I aced college biology with notes from my ninth grade teacher. Oh, that's cool. I don't know if I should confirm my age or not. So we all wrong? I just kind of like you guys are guessing. It's kind of making me laugh. It's making me smile. I will say some of you are right. There's the confirmation. Some of you are right. Green building sounds so dope. Yeah, even like a couple years, well, actually, I guess more than a couple years. This was back in 2020. I started to do research on like off-grid homes and like building off-grid homes. And like there was stuff that was already like familiar from my master's program, but I wanted to do it like in a way where I just wanted to cultivate for myself. Like if I were to build my own little off-grid home, like what would I want, right? What would be important to me? And so I just kind of broke it down like elementally, like, you know, shelter, earth, and like power, fire, and like water, things like that. And even looking into like different waste management methods. And there was a lot of stuff I came across that I was just not okay with. Where I was just like, there's gotta be a better way. And a lot more technology has obviously been coming out. And that's kind of the fun thing about it is like because there's so many options, you can do a lot of different things depending on what your preferences are, but also where you're building matters a lot too. So anyway, I started going down this rabbit hole of just research and actually picking different elements I wanted. And then I started well, not experimenting in theory, on like different waste management systems. Because again, I just don't like what's out there. And I fully believe, well, do I even say this? And maybe I'm not allowed to say it. So there's something I learned in my grad program, more of a natural way of dealing with wastewater. And I think it could be done, honestly, on like a small individual scale, like a house to house scale. Um, I think it can be done. And I think I do know the way, but it would actually take like a lot of practicing and a lot of trying things and a lot of testing and things like that. And that like going into that realm kind of blows my mind a little bit, kind of goes over my head a little bit. Like I have the theory on paper, but I haven't put it into practice. Happy reading, everyone. We'll catch up later. Thank you. You're welcome. I know we went on a whole tangent. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Um, anyway, so yes, I have also been reaching out to different professionals in the field. With no response, but that's okay. I kind of, not surprised by that, but it is what it is. Ocean view on the Big Island. There are lots of off-grid homes. Yes. And when I was there, I was like, that also just got me so excited. Like seeing how many people do like rainwater catchment, how many Airbnbs are also technically like partially off-grid, but rainwater catchment is huge there. And it's like, as it should be. Like there's so many places, especially here in the US, that do not utilize that nearly enough. And then also there's like state policies that are also tied up into that. Are you still having your chats on Patreon? I am. Things have just been a little crazy the last couple months, but yes, I am still planning on having chats over there. And actually, I do want to go live with my patrons either, well, probably not tonight because I'll probably be out of time, but tomorrow. Would you talk about your ideas? So curious. I'm getting the nudge from Spirit to actually not. But I will say there is a natural way to deal with wastewater. There definitely is. There is. I'm just going to say there is. And I think that's all that needs to be said. All right. We're ready to get into the collective messages now that we've gone on our little tangent. I think we're ready. All of a sudden, I'm feeling tiger. Algae could be utilized. I see what you guys are doing. I can feel it. Keeping those stuff to myself. This is really cool, and I love environmental science. Yeah, signs, please. Oh, so I'm not doing signs. I'm doing collective. That's a change that I made a couple weeks ago. All right, collective. I am already seeing a tiger, which is kind of interesting and kind of fun. I'm not hating that. Ooh, where to start? Ooh, oh my God, there's so many decks that are pulling on me. Hold on a second. Where are we gonna start for the collective read? There's a really yummy, like, ferocity coming through. Sensual. It's very sensual. It's very sensual. I'm trying to feel out the decks here. Big Bertha doesn't feel right. I think it's time to cycle out some decks. It's time to cycle out some decks. All right, we're just going to go with Star Codes Astro. I almost picked Big Bertha. I looked up and I saw that. I almost did. And I don't know, something with Big Bertha feels like she might be getting phased out. I'm telling you as well, Scorpio, the sensual vibe's been strong. I know. All right, we'll go with Big Bertha. We will go with Big Bertha. I'll take that as a sign. We'll go with Big Bertha. Okay. Getting into the collective message here for the week. Oh, that's a whole topic. Tiki Booyah, just reading your comment. That feels like a patron talk. That feels like a patron talk. Because I have issue with that word. I do. I have issue with that word. Because I feel like when it comes to sexuality, sexual energy, obviously there is a thing of sexual distortions. Obviously, like we know that. We're aware of that. But that word is very perceptional. It's very subjective, right? What one person considers certain ways of being or activity to qualify as being that, and another person does not, right? I almost want to say, like, don't be hard on yourself about that. Don't be hard on yourself about it. I do think there is a liberation and a sense of empowerment that we find through our sexual energy, and it is up to us what we decide to do with it, how we decide to cultivate it, even not abuse it, obviously. But I feel like, especially in the spiritual community, there's a weird polarity of extremes when it comes to sexual energy, where there's like the extreme of just like, don't go there at all. Like going there at all is somehow distorted, which I just don't believe to be true. And then there's the total opposite polarity where people are totally abusing their sexual energy for not the greatest intentions with other people, obviously. But I do think there is a middle. And I think it's actually way more free than I think some people would think, to work with that in a way that feels good and feels still very divine. Any other venture where we gain knowledge? Oh, I was reading it and the thing, the algorithm was like, nope, or you retracted it. I don't know, one or the other. Anyway, yeah, that's a patron talk in and of itself. Okay. All right, almost there. Any messages or insights for the collective? Oh, that was fast. I like it. We have the Shaolin Master, be graceful in movement and action. This feels like that balancing act I was talking about. Also feeling that Venus sextile Mars energy that I was getting as well. It's like, it's a very intentional way of moving with flow and also understanding how to work with your own energy to have certain outcomes, right? So in a way, it is very magician-like, but it is about maintaining your own flow and your own energetic regulation for very intentional purposes. Very, very magician-like. Okay, that dragon energy is really popping out too. Am I taking these? No. Any other messages or insights for the collective? Energetic reserves. I feel like I mentioned this already, but energetic reserves are coming up here as well. I feel like that really is like the Mars and Taurus And even Orcus Virgo. It's just a theme coming up this week for the collective, and again has been very present. How are you managing your own energetic reserves? Are you revitalizing yourself? Are you nourishing yourself? Are you giving it all away? Are you putting boundaries? Are you being disciplined about it? Are you allowing for your own flow? Are you even allowing your own flow to happen? Or are you fighting your own flow? Interesting. Oh, okay. Some of you are still fighting your flow. Some of you are still fighting like the natural movement of your own energy. There's a difference between funneling it and navigating it and like what and fighting, right? There's a difference. There is a difference. Some of you are still coming to terms with the fact that you force yourself to be in situations or to engage with other people, etc., just to basically be like operating in a way where you do fight your own energetic flow. I almost wanted to say like where you fight your actual needs and who you actually are for the sake of meeting expectations or producing or delivering. Let's see. Wow. Well, that says it all, doesn't it? Mirror guardian, take time to reflect. Take time to reflect. I feel like a lot of you have already been doing this, and some of you would benefit greatly from taking time to reevaluate this. I need to get the hell out of my way. Yes. I love that. Yeah. But yeah, some of you have not taken time to kind of take a look at yourself here when it comes to how you honor or suppress your own flow, your own energetic needs. And it doesn't mean, I want to make this clear too, because they're poking me on this. It doesn't mean checking out of your life. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean going, well, F everything. I'm just going to do whatever I feel like doing. That's not that. It is not that. Right? Because when we speak of energy, it's like, yes, it's emotional, but it's also physical. Right? And there are ways to navigate and not suppress. Acknowledgement is half of it, honestly. Acknowledgement and recognition of what your flow actually is and what your needs actually are is half of this work. And sometimes we just need to recognize something in order to come to a place of being able to deal with it, right? If you're always fighting something, not looking at something, that almost creates more tension and resistance in the first place. Anything else for the collective at this time? Oh, so for those who don't know, I just jumped right in. Big Bertha is a combination deck of the Angels Ancestors Oracle and the Starseed Oracle. Both should be linked below. Okay. I feel like I am getting some new people, so I just want to emphasize. Ooh. Elder. Move beyond ancestral patterns. Yeah, again, it's like ways that we have been fighting ourselves, fighting our own flow, fighting our needs, fighting, like all this like internal tension and friction. A lot of it has just been adopted and learned, right? This is also why the Elder card is out here to say, you know what? I don't gotta act like that. I might have learned to do that. It doesn't mean it's true to me. It doesn't mean it can apply to my life. I can essentially write my own rules based off of what my own needs actually are. This is also a card of maturation that comes with that as well. We are in a period of that. Something I keep getting for the collective, like emotional maturity keeps coming up. The sun has been a battery for me too lately. I know it has for me too. And I'm not a big sun person. I'm not one to like just sit and sunbathe. I don't normally do that, but I've been doing that a lot more recently. But yeah, get out of your own way by dealing with these unhealthy patterns and ways of operating, programs, etc., that keep you in a place of fighting yourself. So you can just be you, be in a natural flow, right? Right. Let's get some other cards here. Tempted to actually go with the Fae deck. Ooh, you know what? We'll go with Dreams of Gaia. Get out of your own way. I know, I didn't know what to title this because there's so much. because there's so much going on. So thank you. I might actually just title it that. Okay. All right. Yep. So I don't know if I mentioned it, but Dreams of Gaia Tarot. This deck has really held up over the years. Like, you know, some decks, like, they just phase out because, like, as a collective, we've just outgrown certain thought forms, certain paradigms. So certain decks that were built off of certain paradigms and thought forms. But this one really holds up. Relationships. We don't have any cards out, but I just heard relationships. Pay attention to your relationships at this time, especially if you haven't been working on your stuff. I am getting a lot of projections and mirroring happening for some of you. So just be aware of that. Be aware of that. Again, especially if you haven't been working on your stuff. Can I get a card for Shaolin Master? I need to stop saying working on your stuff. Just being accountable. If you haven't been being accountable to yourself, pay attention to what's coming up in relationships. Certain words people are using or the ways people are behaving with you. Can I get a card for Shaolin Master, please? They keep pulling me back to the relationship stuff. I'm getting there. We have Destiny coming out with Shaolin Master. I like this. Feels very North Node, right? If we can get into this place of that balancing act and navigating our energy, but maintaining the flow. Again, the ultimate balancing act, we are really headed towards this future alignment, right? With Destiny coming out here. Of your own making is also what I'm hearing too. Of your own making. All of our realities are of our own making. Okay. Our beliefs, our words, our actions, our choices, all of that makes the reality that we experience. But there is this sense, wait a minute. Seeing all kinds of things in the cards today. So I just saw something in this card that reminded me of the Death card in this deck. And it's this little, like, oh God, it's like so hard to see it. It's like the egg with the dragon. Pretty sure that's on the Death card. Obviously, this is totally a portal. But if you can get to this balancing act, a lot of doors will open at this time. Okay. They said, yeah, it's not really about destiny. Thank you. Yeah, it's not really about destiny. It's really the future you're creating for yourself. It's going to match where you're at now. It's going to match where you're at this week. So if you've been on top of your P's and Q's this week, if you've been, again, being accountable to self, evolving, improving, I don't even want to say that word, but I'm just going to say evolving instead of improving. Doors are going to open for new opportunities that are just going to match that. Okay? That are going to match that. I feel like there has been a group of you where you've been like really holding yourself accountable, almost like checking yourself is what I'm getting, like catching words before they come out of your mouth or catching yourself before you engage in something. I'm getting like a catching. If you've been experiencing that, I do think you are already really in the new. And there just might be some other things that are going to manifest physically very soon. Yeah. Really trying to think before I speak. Yeah. That is being a Shaolin master, right? That's recognizing where you're at energetically and recognizing how to navigate your own energy and then also the outcomes that you're trying to bring in. Cause and effect is what I'm hearing. That's a Hermetic principle too. Some of you could be studying Hermetics. I want to move on from this energy and get into Mirror Guardian. Can I get a card for Mirror Guardian, please, for the collective? I'm still feeling this tiger energy too. Feeling a lot of stuff right now. Whoa! Oh, I love when this happens. I got tingles with this. So I'm literally clarifying mirror guardian, right? This is, and I was also getting mirroring and projection when it comes to relationships and you needing to take a look at yourself for those who need to. And look what we get. King of Earth and King of Water coming out here. Scorpio, Taurus, energy. Um, this definitely feels like bringing in that polarity and harmonizing the practical and emotional, just like I was saying before, right? The astrology alludes to that, the channelings allude to that, balancing present emotional nourishment and needs and heart's desires with future long-term goals and building up of legacy, right? And what can be provided to you in the long term. Balancing these two. Where are you at in balancing these polarities within yourself? Are you working from both? Are you working from one over the other? There is a emotional maturation and spiritual maturation with this, and there is a definitely a mastery of the material plane, but it's more about responsibility and accountability. Responsibility, accountability, discipline. There needs to be both. There needs to be room for taking care of the body, taking care of the soul, taking care of the heart, honoring your energy, honoring your wants, but then also honoring your own responsibilities and obligations as well. And are you doing that? Or is there some shadowy stuff here? Is there distortion here still that's getting in the way of you balancing this polarity? And yes, this may come up in your relationships to be reflected back to you where you're at in this polarity. Like if people are throwing, I'm trying to think, if people are showing you their really greedy side, right? Like I keep hearing pay attention to other people right now, not in a way of like, peeking in on what they're doing, but pay attention on how people are acting towards you and the words they're using. It is a mirror, right? So somebody is more like this, like shadowy, right? They're probably controlling or possessive or pushy or dominating. Tyrannical is kind of like a king of earth in reverse. Or they're greedy or they're way too focused on material things. If someone's like this, they're emotionally manipulative. Okay, or even like emotionally like disconnected, like disassociated even. I don't feel codependent, but codependency could be a part of that too. That's more like Queen of Cups energy. I'm getting more like emotional manipulation going on there, inability to meet heart to heart, soul to soul, that kind of thing. And people will show you and they will tell you if you are balanced in this energy, in these polarities and these aspects, then people are going to act like this towards you. Right? People will be able to come from the heart, be able to meet you at soul level, be able to be compassionate and hold empathy and hold space for you, and also be able to take care of themselves and emotionally regulate themselves, be on top of their life and their own responsibilities and getting some health stuff going on in there. So you see what I'm saying? I need to stop emotionally manipulating myself. Yeah, I'm like, oh, on the mirror guardian. So crazy. We're going to get deeper into that too. But let's move on to elder. Where's my cards? There. Actually, I'm going to just sit with that for a minute. So this has been coming up in the readings lately, especially in the sign readings. I think this came up for, it was either Scorpio or Gemini, or maybe it was the Friday reading. I don't remember anymore. I do so many readings. But I'm definitely getting some spirit activity with this. That could be around your home. That could be in dream time. I'm feeling activity, and I'm feeling like, hey, hello, like almost trying to get your attention to certain things. It's not bad. It just is. It just is. This is a week, like I said before, with the new moon in Cancer, and as it's working with Orcus, that this is also a time to close out some karmic shit. Normally, new moons are a time to like start things. With Orcus being in the mix, it also is going to coincide with really closing the door on some patterns or just unhealthy things, karmic lessons. I heard repeating the cycle. No, it is a free will choice. Sorry, energy's moving through me. It is a free will choice what cycles and patterns we decide that we're not done yet or that we haven't fully learned yet. And I really want to also encourage you guys, there's no shame and recognizing that maybe you're not done really fully learning something. Okay? There's no shame in that, because when you're ready, you're just ready. And it just happens. Like if you're truly ready to fully embody a lesson and be done with a cycle, guess what? The cycle just closes as a natural consequence of you embodying that lesson anyway and acting out of that new embodiment. It just happens. It's not something that has to be forced. You know what I'm saying? Um, and if you're not ready, you're not ready. And that's just where you're at on your journey. I really want to say no shame about it. Okay? No shame about it. But some of you are definitely closing out some very long standing cycles. And it just feels like there's a communication of, hey, we see you, you know? What else is coming up with Elder? Five of air. Do you see it yet or not? It's coinciding with what I already mentioned, but it's like are you ready to close or are you not? Are you closing or are you repeating? Is your mask on or off? If your mask is off, you're probably closing. And if your mask is on, you're probably not ready. The dragonfly is really standing out to me. So, okay, I've been getting some like messages recently that have been a little hard to deliver just because they feel a little like harsh truths, but truth is truth. Some of you may come to the realization or the awareness that you have been like, I almost want to say deluding yourself. Or have been in denial about your own actions, about how you might perpetuate certain cycles. And if that's you, you're coming to terms with that. You have a chance. I'm gonna say that. You have a chance to come to terms with that. Is your mask staying on or is it coming off? You okay, Clyde? Clyde just jumped up as I said that. He's so cute. So, sorry, little tangent. Cat mom for a second. When I got back from my trip, I had a couple different suitcases and I slowly unpacked them and I had like one little one for like all my ritual stuff. And he made it his new bed. So now he's just like chilling in his suitcase bed and I kind of want to show you guys because I just love him so much. Don't mind the mess. I'm like getting rid of shit, but I'm gonna show you guys a little bit. Hey, Clyde, buddy. I love you. Sorry, I just love him. Okay, anyway, coming back to the Five of Swords energy. Hold on, there's something else here too. In honoring your own energy. I know, he's so cute, right? He just is. And oh my god, and he knows it. He's so big too. I can't believe he kind of fits in the suitcase, kind of. Anyway, so in honoring your energy, you're also becoming more authentic in you. That's also something I'm feeling with the Five of Swords. And I was hearing a breaking through or a cracking through. Like the real you is starting to really exude out the more you can get into that, right? The cats of the tarot community are a gift. Oh my God, there are so many cats, right? There are. That's so true. And dogs. There's definitely dogs too, but there are a lot of cats. But anyway, as you get into that place of balance and really navigating your energy and really allowing and surrendering for the harmonization of all of that, right? It's also going to help the mask to come off if any of you are still struggling with that. I want to get one more for Elder. Can I get one more for Elder? Yeah, it's putting down the fight. Putting down the fight. Oh, yummy. Ace of Earth. For those who can take the mask off. And again, if you can't right now, that's okay. No judgment. But for those who can, you're seeing all the possibilities with the Ace of Earth. All the possibilities, opportunities, to take on new paths of stability, really. What is something else coming in here? What is that? Something very tangible. What is that? Something very tangible. Very tangible. There, some of you, these opportunities I want to say are tangible. Like, I know how that sounds. It's just how it wants to come through. I don't feel like it's gifts. Like, I don't feel that. I like something you could actually like grab a hold of. I know how that sounds, but it's just is literally just how it's coming through. But it doesn't really matter. What really matters is you are going to be able to see all that really is available to you that you really couldn't see before because you had your mask on. Okay. Very nice. Where are we at? Wow, 115. I want to keep pulling cards. The animals are like jumping out at me. So, okay, we're going to do the animals, then we'll probably close out. Okay. Coming back to Shadow Master. I'm hearing the word I heard gentility and then I heard grace. Tell me about Shaolin Master and Destiny. Diligence, thank you. Diligence with your own energy, with Beaver. Beaver's kind of like a Virgo Taurus energy to me. Beaver is consistent, practical, disciplined building. Repetitive, routine, building, building, building. Every little step, every single day will eventually build the dam that you're looking for is kind of the concept behind Beaver, right? But it's diligence. And this is also very diligent energy. If you are very diligent about your own energy and what you are attempting to even like bring in for yourself, which is also the same thing as attempting to embody for yourself, you'd be surprised. And I am getting that feeling of small steps, right? Like you're not going to go from a page to a king in a day or a week, right? There are steps in between there. So also needing to recognize that a little gentility with yourself and a little grace with yourself, a little patience with yourself will actually be more suited to building the future or even pulling in the future that you're looking to align to, right? Again, this is a manifestation week, but it takes diligent effort with gentility and grace for yourself, where maybe you might feel like you're not quite meeting the expectations that you're wanting, right? But just be gentle with yourself in this process. Hold on. I think something weird's going on with the chat. This happened in the last live that I did too. Hold on a second. Go away. Oh, don't do weird things. Hold on a second, guys. Why is it doing that? So the chat froze. It did this last time too. And now there's a weird, oh, okay, good. Now it's gone. Technology. But yeah, consistent diligence, but be gentle with yourself and have grace with yourself while you are learning to be the Shaolin Master. All right. Moving on to the Mirror Guardian with the King of Earth and the King of Water. Oh, this feel. Something about this is like tickling me. This energy of the Kings is like tickling me for some reason. I'm getting like a Six of Cups energy. Remember what I said, pay attention to how people treat you and like what they're saying, because it's mirroring back where you're at in that polarity. Most likely it's mirroring that back to you. And for those who are experiencing a very balanced experience with other people in these realms, there might be some very fun things that might play out. Let's see. Talking about King of Earth, King of Water, and Mirror Guardian. Woo! Jeez. Cards are flying everywhere. Oh, wait. Tiddles, thank you. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you. Rabbit and Crocodile. Getting a lot of things off of this. Remember, we're clarifying this with Mirror Guardian. Rabbit to me is more about a fearful, hypervigilant energy. Traditionally, it can represent fertility and abundance and luck and all those things. Crocodile is also about how to, not what I expected. Yeah, me neither, but I'm like, oh, I see it. I get why. Crocodile is navigating the deepest of dark waters, if you will, and not letting it affect you. Even experiencing things that could be very upsetting and just keeping a cool, calm head, navigating your waters well. Okay. I am getting a little bit of like, not the most pleasant interactions with people. And I feel like this is going to be more for people who you're encountering these kinds of energies versus these energies. Now, could it be showing you something about yourself? Absolutely. But I would just treat it like a teaching moment, right? So if you are encountering that, try to get here in the moment. Just take it as a moment of recognition, almost like if someone is serving you up poop, be like, I'm going to meet this with rainbows and unicorns. You know what I mean? It's like just because someone's serving up poop to you doesn't mean you got to meet it with poop. Doesn't mean you got to take shit, right? It doesn't mean that at all. And that's what I feel here. A little bit of like a recognition in the moment of, oh, like that hyper vigilant energy, like, oh shit, is that what's coming my way? Is that what's inside of me? And just having a moment of observation with the crocodile of being like, okay. Not taking it personal, almost like not emotionally detaching because you are having an emotional experience, but just seeing it for what it is, right? And being cool, calm, and collected and not feeding into the bullshit, right? Not enabling those energies and also not inviting more, right? So take that stance of the crocodile. I feel like that's definitely one type of experience to be had this week. Anything else for King of Earth and King of Water with Mirror Guardian? And also recognize too, when people act like that, when they act out of their distortions, it most likely is coming from a place of fear, right? It's most likely coming from a place of insecurity, fear, pain, discomfort, etc. And try to have compassion for that. Again, don't take shit, but just recognize, oh, okay, right? As I say that, golden egg, heart chakra. Oh, with the raccoon. So kind of what I already said, right? Recognizing where that's actually coming from and try to meet that with compassion. It doesn't mean go all love and light on them. It doesn't mean be a doormat. That is not what that means, right? But you can have compassion for somebody and also have boundaries for yourself and say when no, it means no, right? Or hey, this is okay, that's not okay, right? It's okay to recognize that. But when we have raccoon can be a masking energy a little bit. Yeah, masking feelings. Okay, we'll put a pin in that. We'll come back to that. I'm tempted to talk about it, but masking feelings. I'm going to come back to it. And if I forget, just remind me. But raccoon can also be a bit of a trickster energy too, or like a mischief maker. I don't get that though. I don't feel that intuitively. I feel more scared. I feel more like fear and sadness coming out of the raccoon. So again, recognizing where people are acting from, where they're at in relation to the relationship with their own heart space. What was the other thing that came before? Masking. Oh yeah, masking feelings, masking emotions. Sometimes people, well, first of all, humans are very interesting. Humans are weird creatures. Sometimes the ways people behave is to throw you off from what they actually feel, right? So sometimes when people feel embarrassed, they might like overcompensate by being overly confident or inflated in their ego, right? Or like if someone's got a crush on you, for example, maybe they're being really aloof and wanting distance, right? It's like, so sometimes I'm getting a little bit of that for some of you. Either way, if you want to align to this, just embody this. And if someone's not coming at you with this, try to meet them with this. And if they're not meeting you there, they're not meeting you there. And that's kind of all you got to know. It's all you really need to know. right? You don't have to entertain this. I'm getting a little bit of like Five of Swords games, to be honest with you. You don't got to entertain people's games when they're acting out of wounding like that. You don't have to entertain that. That's just a big waste of energy. Sorry, but it is what it is. You can be compassionate, empathetic, and all of that, but feeding into someone's coping mechanisms because they don't know how to deal with their shit doesn't do anybody any favors. Sorry, I feel very like about that all of a sudden. I just do. It doesn't mean you got to be mean, but it doesn't mean you got to play into it either. And I get that sometimes people don't have the tools, and so they rely on behavior like that. You don't have to enable it. You just don't. Let's move on. Let's move on to Elder, Five of Air, and the Ace of Earth. Okay. Well. And now I want to get that energy out of here now. I'm like, what? I don't like it. Five of Air, Ace of Earth for Elder. And obviously, if you're acting out of those games or out of those like ways of being, right? Time to just take accountability for yourself. So I got Five of Air, Ace of Earth for Elder. Ooh, I feel like Fox wants to come out. I'm gonna pull another card. We have Bat. Bat is a transition card for me, from dark to light, from death to birth. Seeing the light in the dark, seeing the truth for what it is, especially around that Five of Swords energy, right? Is your mask on or is it off? It's a free will choice. You're either ready or you're not. Oh, ready for the truth or not. Interesting how that wanted to come through that way. Can I get one more, please? Oh. 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 This is depends on the day, LOL. This is a lot more about getting away from these energies than I anticipated. So it probably is just where like the baseline of the collective is at right now. I feel like a lot of you are probably past this already, like past those energies within yourself. But if you're not, that's okay. But this Peacock, you guys know that is one of my superficial cards. That is one of my shiny, shiny distraction, look at the pretty thing card. But Peacock in and of itself is a really positive animal medicine. And I don't want to like dissuade you from working with Peacock energy. It's something about this card in particular that really rubs me the wrong way. And it's just how it's been for me the whole time I've read it. And every time it comes out, I feel that. But Peacock is normally a card of beauty. Okay. Beauty and charisma and captivation and grace. So I just want to make that clear. In this deck, it isn't that for me as a reader. Some of you may start actually embracing the practice of walking in beauty. That just came up. There's a card in my native spirit deck that they just showed me. It's literally the walking in beauty card, which I really like. Walking in beauty is a very intentional way of just living your life, of always seeing the beauty in everything. It's not dismissing the ugly. It's not dismissing the things that are distorted, but it's a card of gratitude, right? It's a card of gratitude and appreciation for every present moment. Some of you are really learning to embrace that, and in doing so, you're actually able to see what beauty really is, and maybe even redefining that for you of what is beautiful or what you are actually grateful for may be expanding. There may be a lot more things you're grateful for than you realized, but that's something that I'm getting here as well as you guys are working on these patterns and distortions and things. This Peacock, something about this Peacock feels caught off guard. Caught off guard. Caught off guard. Like a stunned energy. Stunned. For some of you, if the mask hasn't come off yet and it's about to, there might be something about the truth that's a little stunning, that might take you back a little bit. And I feel like it's probably going to happen more for those who are taking those moments of gratitude every day. It's like putting you not just in a place of surrender, but it's putting you in an energy of beauty itself and receptivity as well. I just keep getting stunned, stunned, stunned. Some of you, the clarity on your possibilities and your potentials, it's that, but some of you, it's also just like factual truths coming to the surface as well that catch you a little off guard. May even the people around you catch them off guard. I think that the latter is probably more a result of whatever change you're going through in this as you are aligning into this very like beautiful place, while others around you may not be. Yeah, I just keep getting stunned. Stunned, 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 stunned. I don't really know if we have to pull any more cards. I think it's going to start getting pretty circular soon. So I am going to end it there. But just know that this is a week of manifestation, and it starts with how diligent you're being about your own energy. Okay? Yeah, I think it's just, it needs to be that simple. Obviously, there's a lot more details going on that I already disclosed to you guys. So take all those messages as you will and as it resonates. But yeah, this is a good week. This is a good week. Yeah. Yep, that's it. Neptune stationing, thank you for your time. You guys are welcome. Thank you guys for showing up, and thank you for everybody who sent super chats. I think it was I'm sorry, I already forgot. I gotta go all the way back, but I appreciate your super chat. Trying to be more present in the moment, appreciating where I'm at in life. Maybe one day we can initiate convos after these chats. So much I want to discuss with you. I think there's gonna be a lot more chats moving forward as Jupiter is getting very, very comfortable in Gemini. Which I am looking forward to. Again, there are things that I want to incorporate and also things that I want to stop doing in relation to all the things that I'm doing here. I'm just sitting with it right now. I'm sitting with it and allowing myself to feel it and see how the pieces want to fall into place. But I do want to have way more discussion. I do want to do seminars and courses and things like that, as well as getting back to services. There's a lot of things I want to know. So yeah, I just got to see how it all fits. My bestie is visiting this week. Can't wait. Oh, cool. And also, if you guys do meet people like this, hold on a second. Like, jump in. Jump in, enjoy it, have a great time, because that's a good time. That is a good time. All right. And have fun with all this Leo energy. And again, don't forget to utilize the energy of 7/7 to really get deep into all of that playful, sensual, fun, manifesting energy as well. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce. I love you. And thank you guys again for being patient as I also make a second one of these. I'm going to go, but have a really great night. And I will see you guys very soon. Okay. Bye, guys.